And we are live. What's going on, guys?
Hello, everybody. How are you tonight? Sorry we were late.
Yeah,
As
Vicky was,
usual,
just fucking flapping her gums
as
backstage.
usual, it was Dean's fault. It's always
She
Dean's
just wouldn't shut the
fault.
fuck up, guys. You know women, right?
Days to do his video and last minute shit.
I don't know what you're talking about, Vicky.
Don't know. Don't
You guys
know.
see how this woman just sold me out? What a piece of shit. We have Bad Boy Bubby in the chat. Late and straight. Thank you. That's the first time anyone said something so nice in the chat.
Hello, Isaac. How are you tonight?
Yeah, we got Isaac. We got the Great Council, Lunga. How you doing, man? It's good to see you in the chat. We have Amit in the chat, and there's
And
other
Dojo.
people. Oh yeah, Dojo.
Dojo-kun. Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of Dojo-kun, we're gonna be talking about the well, I mean, I don't want to associate the scam with him because he's not like he was investigating
He's not
it.
involved.
Yeah, but if you guys probably should have watched last stream. I assume most of you did because we usually, I feel like, have the same viewers. Maybe we should just jump into it. Yeah.
Yeah. I think we should.
Hello.
Approximately a year ago, Liberty Entertainment Distribution contacted numerous independent comic creators with a contract to put their books in Spencer's Gifts. Spencer's currently has 600 shops and malls across the United States and Canada. 7 creators with a total of 9 books took Liberty up on the offer. 27,000 books were printed at the creators' expense. 2,000 were to be sent to Spencer's and 1,000 were intended for Liberty Distribution to distribute to comic shops and sell at conventions. This was to be a 6-issue monthly contract. According to Anthony Figaro, one of the creators involved, all of the creators signed contracts and NDAs with Liberty, but now that the deal has fallen apart, people involved in and with knowledge of this deal have started to speak about it.
What happened was, first of all, I started Liberty, the company, in 2015.
Right.
Through it, when someone would order stuff from my comic publishing company, when I sent it with Liberty package. Just kind of giving myself this experience.
So what is Liberty? Is Liberty a comic book publishing company? Is Liberty a shipping and fulfillment company? What is this Liberty brand?
Distribution. For independent comics.
All right.
Liberty is owned by Varian Grant, and despite being established in 2015 and Grant sending out his own books under the Liberty banner, the official launch was announced in August of 2020. Varian and his wife Krista also run IndieVolt, which bills itself as a media company whose stated purpose is to support independent artists. The first time I saw them in Comicsgate was a live stream in early May 2021. Krista, who goes by the handle Lola the Indie Princess, was launching a crowdfund for a book entitled Lure, a self-insert psychological thriller set against a background of polyamory, which included an ashcan of a listing of A to Z fetishes, as well as a 28-page book of prints of unsolicited dick pictures she had received. Krista raised $2,360 on Indiegogo. Since then, IndieVolt announced a partnership with Indiecron, a fixture in Comicsgate since 2019 that collates CG crowdfunds. One of the creators contracted for the Spencer's deal, J.D. Calderon, acted as a print broker and found a printer for the books. The first issue of the books were shipped from the printer to Varian in Michigan in July of 2021. On August 4th, Liberty Distribution's Twitter announced that the books had been sent to Spencer's Distribution Center in New Jersey. This started the 45-day clock for the creators to receive payment. And sometime in mid to early August, Varian told the group that Spencer's wanted to expand the contract and they made plans to travel to New Jersey for the grand opening of their books being placed in Spencer's, attend a pop-up book signing, and for Varian to sign the new contract. This contract was for 17,500 copies of each issue instead of the initial 2,000, bringing the total number of contracted books to 158,500 monthly. The opening at Spencer's had been canceled, but the group still traveled to New Jersey for the contract signing, where they were told by Varian that the representative they were to meet with at Spencer's was ill and would not be meeting with them that day. Over the course of the weekend, which included a pop-up shop book signing, Varian claimed to have received an email with the contract and he signed it. This expansion of the contract is happening at the same time Varian says Spencer's was seemingly cooling to the deal because the first shipment of books was a few days late. By mid-September, the 45 days for the receipt of payment was up. Varian told the creators that the payment was held up because the UPC codes were incorrect and it would be another 120 days before payment would be received.
So I was told that originally you sent the stuff, you were supposed to get payment within 45 days.
Yes.
And then you were told the UPC codes were entered wrong,
Yes.
and that it was going to be another 120 days before you got payment.
Due to the paper shortage, Calderon was unable to find a printer and the additional 138,500 books were never printed.
I thought, oh, okay, well, this can work and this is going to work. And then the rug got snatched out from us when I got home, because that's when we get told there's no way to meet that deal because there's no paper.
And how many printers did you contact?
Well, JD was the point guy on the printers.
And
So
how
I'm not
many
sure
how many different printers did JD reach out to?
I am not sure.
After some time, Varian told the group that Spencer's wanted to return to the original contract of 2,000 copies per issue because they were unable to procure the additional books. On Black Rose Comics livestream on February 13, 2022, Varian claimed to have used a business-to-business broker called Books to Bucks to find this deal with Spencer's, a claim reiterated by Varian on his own February 17th livestream.
One of those companies was referral only, and they reached out to me and they said, hey, we specialize in books, and they were called B2B Squared, and they said it was business to business, books to books, and they told me they would be able to help me get these comics everywhere.
None of the creators had been informed that there was a third party acting as a middleman for this contract. They were under the impression that Varian was in direct contact with Spencer's. On a February 16th Black Rose Comics livestream, Eric Hodson, a longtime friend of Varian's and fellow comic creator, showed a partial page of a purported NDA with a company called B2B Squared. Varian also claims to have received payment for the artwork done by Eric Hodson for the store displays and a single letter in December from both Spencer's and B2B Squared that canceled the contract with penalties due to breach of contract. He said that he forwarded the letter to his lawyer and that after payment of a $3,744 fine, which was a charge for storage and return shipping to Michigan, Spencer's agreed to send the books back to Varian. Very little of what I just described actually happened the way Varian claimed. Contracts with Liberty Entertainment Distribution were signed by the creators, books were printed, Hodson did the display art, and they did travel to New Jersey. There never was a contract with Spencer's Gifts. Nearly everything Varian told these 7 creators was a lie. Something to keep in mind here is that Varian, while claiming that he had an attorney, never stated that he showed the initial contract to that attorney, and he most definitely didn't have him look over the addendum to the contract he claims to have signed while in New Jersey, a change in the contract that would have made it worth $6 million.
And in that conversation, you said that you had mailed the night before correspondence with things redacted and watermarked with my name on it. So when I showed it, because I had your back. I was defending you. Of course I'm going to show, look, I've got receipts. He's not lying. Of course I was going to show that. But it's been 3 weeks and I haven't got that.
Really?
So, yeah, so at this point, when that never showed up, man, I didn't have any choice but just to step away and say, okay, I've got to get these books because I'm massively in debt from this deal. And I got to make something happen.
No one involved in this has seen any paperwork regarding this deal with Spencer's. The contract from Spencer's was withheld because of an NDA. The NDA was never shown. Not a single invoice was shown. Not one bill of lading for the shipping. Nothing, despite numerous instances of Varian promising to share the information with the group. Varian has claimed multiple times that the company he signed an NDA with is called B2B Squared Books to Bucks. There is a problem with the NDA he claims to have signed. Books to Bucks doesn't exist. The company name on the NDA, the first page of which was given to Eric, is B2B Squared. B2B Squared is located in Wisconsin, and from their website, they deal with e-commerce, not brick and mortar. This is their logo. The logo on the top of the NDA does not belong to B2B Squared and can be found on this website, where graphic designers post samples of their work looking to be hired.
General counsel is Spencer's legal department, and I talked to Kevin W. Mahoney, Esquire. He's the senior vice president and general counsel at Spencer's Gifts. I explained the due diligence I was performing. He asked me to send him in writing, and he would ascertain for me if the deal ever existed and whether or not Jill Watts, Jill Morris, or Carl Eubanks worked for Spencer's. I spoke to Mr. Mahoney on Friday afternoon, and he confirmed that Spencer's does not do any business with B2B Squared nor Liberty Entertainment Distribution. He also confirmed that no one by the names of Jill Watts, Jill Morris, nor Carl Eubanks does now or has ever worked for Spencer's.
The person who the group was supposed to meet in August and sign the amended contract has never worked at Spencer's. None of the claimed contacts Varian had at Spencer's do or have worked there. And according to Phoenix Animation, he contacted Spencer's after being bounced from department to department, was finally put in contact with the woman in charge of their business to business, and she said the Spencer's had never carried comics and has never had plans to do so.
I believe Arian was the victim of an elaborate scam and is not savvy enough to ask the right questions, insist on documentations, and then be truthful with his business partners regarding the nature of the relationship involving B2B Squared.
Dojo Kun Comics, who is a certified fraud investigator, has spoken with Varian, his wife, Spencer's legal counsel, and a few of the creators. He looked at some documents that Varian shared with him and has come to the conclusion that Varian, while guilty of negligent business practices, was scammed by B2B Squared, that the scam was to get the $3,744 from Varian for the storage and shipping that was demanded in December for the return of the books. I disagree. I don't believe that Varian had a contract with anyone. Dojo Kun's theory rests on the idea that the books were picked up by the scammer company and moved to another facility. But this never happened. I have been in contact with Randy Zimmerman, one of the creators offered this deal by Varian. He helped pack the books for what he believed to be their pickup to New Jersey, and according to him, the books haven't moved an inch and are in the exact same spot in the storage space Varian rented. Photographs of the pallets taken on the day they were supposedly picked up and after they were reportedly returned confirm this. Eric Hodson has since changed the locks on the unit and will be sending the books back to the individual creators. So what was the hustle? I believe the purpose here was twofold. First, having these creators under the Liberty banner made the company look bigger than it was and raised its profile among creators and possible distribution outlets. And second, Varian was given possession of 27,000 books. Per the contract, 1,000 copies of each issue were not included in the professed Spencer's deal, but were intended for Liberty to decimate to other vendors and for Varian and his wife to sell at conventions. He would receive 50% of these sales. By September, after the New Jersey trip, they were at conventions selling these comics. The remaining 18,000 books, in my opinion, were intended for liquidation by Varian. The expanded deal was always going to fall through before the books were actually printed. According to Zimmerman, Varian was already setting up Calderon as the fall guy. The paper shortage gave him the perfect excuse for this ostensible deal to collapse. Now, the Seven have control over their books. They are running a crowdfund on Indiegogo in an attempt to recoup some of their losses. Sign-ups have started, and there is a link in the description.
We have it. I'm
Yes.
sorry, Dojo Kun. I just don't agree with you. When I spoke with Zimmerman, he said that he would testify in a court of law that those books haven't moved, that
Based off of the picture, right?
Based off the picture that he received from Eric, the actual paint splatter on the floor and where he placed the pallets, the chances of those pallets moving and coming back and both of them being put in the exact same place are slim to none.
I mean, yeah,
you know,
makes sense.
That's just the way it is. There's all sorts of little details too that just that don't add up.
I never thought that the books moved personally.
Yeah,
Like I said from day one, those books haven't moved.
I was willing to give the benefit of the doubt, and then the more I dug and the more I talked to people and the more I looked, it just became less and less likely.
Yeah.
There is a link for the long shot sign up page in the description. I'll be dropping it in the chat too. Because I think, at least take a look at them and see if any of them interest you.
Yeah. No, you guys should. Those are some books that I feel like should be
should move.
Yeah.
Luke Stone ended up remastering 5 books. He paid the entire creative team out of his own pocket for this. So he's really in a hole because it was more, it was more than just printing the books. I believe the same thing happened with Randy Zimmerman.
Yeah, I think Randy Zimmerman was 20,000 he took out to remaster all the books.
Yeah. And, it's a lot of money for these guys to have been screwed out of, because it's not just for the cost of printing, right? Especially when you look at remastering books and things like that. One thing I did find a little odd too is Liberty Distribution under Varian has been around since what he said 2015, something crazy like this, right? He has had I checked, he has like 5 different LLCs registered. They're all inactive except for IndieVolt. But the only one missing is Liberty Distribution.
Oh.
So I find it a little weird that he was going to be running this big, huge operation. I mean, this deal was worth, over the 6-month period, $6 million. Almost. It was worth a lot of fucking money.
Yeah.
And for him to not do that under some sort of corporate structure just seemed extremely hinky to me. I mean, maybe not to anybody else, but just tax wise and everything else. And they were all involved, most of them. It was Eric Hodson, Luke Stone, I think even Zimmerman, Hodson's wife, who has since passed away, and somebody else. My brain's totally farting. I didn't get a chance to eat dinner. They all were involved in that Terraform that we discussed last week.
Yeah. Terraform
was owned by Varian. I didn't realize that until I did the corporate search. That was a registered LLC. It's inactive now because he decided, for reasons I don't know, because it seemed that this was Terraform's purpose, was to do distribution and publishing and all of this other stuff. But he decided to do it under Liberty instead. So to me, that just seems, it just sort of adds another little something to the mix that just isn't good.
I don't know. The one thing that just never made sense to me was like moving the books when there was never a deal. Now that's not to say, because Dojo-kun could be right. He is a fraud investigator. I doesn't make sense to me for the books to move at all.
Well, even if they're, if there was some sort of deal with a B2B squared, somebody would pick up the books. right? Somebody would.
Yeah.
But when Varian tells the story of how those books got picked up, you know, it's just weird to me that there are no photographs of anything. He claims that there's a video of the truck coming to pick up the books, but he has yet to share it with anybody. And this happened in August, right? The way he tells the story, he gets caught up in his condition, his medical condition, and that he needed to get home. And the next thing you know, he's actually saying that they left the storage container, the storage space unlocked and left the property basically before the truck gets there. His friend drove him to the storage space, right? Everybody knew the books were supposed to be picked up. His friend drives him to the storage space to wait for the truck. The truck's running late, supposedly. And, it's good cover that his friend is there. But because his friend is there and he doesn't drive, they have to leave before the truck gets there. The fictional truck, in my opinion, gets there to pick up the books. So it's just all of these little teeny itty bitty details that just don't work out to there being any sort of real deal.
Yeah. I get you. And Dojo Kun says no legit courier would touch those books without a bill of is that lading?
Lading, yeah. Of course they wouldn't. But Varian doesn't have any paperwork. I mean, there's this entire huge deal that has no paperwork, right? I think the only paperwork is with J.D. Calderon with the printers, probably.
Yeah.
But he can't show a contract because he says it was a proprietary browser that was on a timer, so he wasn't able to print it, but he could have screenshotted it.
Yeah.
He could have screenshotted it, so he had a record of it, but he never did that. He said that first, in one story, he says that he electronically signed this email that he got with this extension contract. But then he also says that they faxed the last page of the contract to his hotel in Egg Harbor when they went to New Jersey. But he doesn't have a copy of that. He doesn't have the fax number, which should be on the top of it. There's little headers on a page of every fax that, will tell you what number it came from. He doesn't have any information at all. Whoops. Lost you, Dean.
What?
You ducked out for a minute.
No, I didn't.
Yeah. You cut off for me.
Nope.
But so that's where I stand on it. Now, like Dean said, there's always the possibility that Dojo Kun is right. But I just don't think that any of it ever happened. And people will say, well, it's not, if he liquidates the books, it's not that much money. True. I mean, it would be maybe $8,000, $9,000, $10,000 for him, and whatever goes, and the other half going to creators. It's not a whole lot. But when you don't have anything.
Yeah, when you have no stake in the game.
When you don't have anything at all, that's a lot of money.
Well, yeah, and then also, you didn't, risk anything.
Yeah, there was no risk for him really at all, except for having to continue to perpetuate this fiction.
Yeah. But Dojo Kun says he claims he will contact his credit card company to trace the payment to B2B. We'll see. Yeah. I'm interested to see what
we'll see. I don't think he'll ever show any
I don't think so either.
He hasn't shown any record of anything else.
Yeah.
So
I agree. But so our next topic is why is EBS big mad?
Again? Or still?
Still, yeah.
Well, you are fucking irritating, Dean.
Fuck you, bitch. Hey, Dean, did Vicky ask if it's okay to have me on tonight yet? Did you ask, Vicky? I didn't see.
I DM'd you, but you didn't answer.
Oh, well, yeah.
Yeah, we don't really check our DMs during.
Yeah, I don't check. But yeah, and no.
He doesn't look at the private chat either, so that's a total. Yeah. Well, yes, indeed. JDA is co-hosting the kill stream with Ethan Ralph. He's going to gunt guard some more. Yeah, this is actually his third appearance, I believe, on the kill stream. Yeah, the last time was a total flop. It was he was trying to start a fight with Quartering. Nobody gave a fuck. He gave the link to Testify, so it was him and Testify, and the chat's like, who the fuck is this derp?
Yeah, bring back the person.
Yeah. So it's just too fucking funny.
But
yeah, me too, Dojo-kun. I'm dubious too.
Hello everyone, and welcome back to another video. If you haven't watched the 2 videos I've done regarding Evan Scam Criver versus the Quartering, I suggest you check those videos out first. Links in the description, as well as title cards up in the right corner. Last week, Vicky and I watched my last video over on our channel, D&V Investigations. But I didn't think he'd flip out, but he did. Now let's watch, as well as give commentary on it. Campaign, who was the main cause of the onslaught of harassment
because I hang out with Testify.
Yeah. Is this going to be it?
And
oh,
it
no.
was the now DED.
Are they really going to rag on?
Wow.
Testify HD.
Wow.
Testify.
They're going after a dead guy and saying Ethan hung out with a dead guy. Holy shit. These people.
I'm not sure which is worse, JDA's comprehension or his writing. Both are trash regardless. No, I wasn't saying EVS hangs out with a dead guy. But John would know that if he stopped yapping his cock holster for 2 seconds and tried listening to the video.
He did, and he actually apologized several times for any involvement with any Anna drama and all that.
No, Testify was very adamant about the fact that he stands by all the things he did in War Campaign. I'm supposed to believe that the same guy who went into CG creator Dark Gift's YouTube chat to make fun of the fact that his friend JJ Sithlord had just died was sorry for harassing Anna about her sister's suicide? Fun fact, John actually was in Dark Gift's chat with Testify, also making fun of JJ Sithlord's death.
There were more people than just him involved. He was not the ringleader, as they say.
As they say, who the fuck are they? John's relying on his audience being too retarded to notice. I played a clip of Ethan stating it was Testify. Here's the clip.
Yeah, okay. So, it wasn't until they started making fun of Anna's deceased sister and refusing to stop that it actually became a real problem. And that was more Testify HD, wasn't it? That was more Testify HD and Friends.
Testify's harassment was so bad.
It's a rerun?
That EVS straight up kicked War Campaign out of Comicsgate.
I did not.
I really can't understand why Ethan would lie about something like this. Yeah, he for sure kicked War Campaign out. Just less than 2 months ago, he was on Twitter laughing at the fact that Gat, War Campaign's second in command, slid into his DMs asking if War Campaign could be let back into Comicsgate. It really just doesn't make sense to lie about it. And EVS admits that Testify was the #1 person harassing
now pause
EVS's
it again. Now,
own
hold on,
friend Anna.
Yeah.
Ethan admits.
Yeah, fat fuck. Play the clip again.
No problem. And that was more Testify HD, wasn't it? That was more Testify HD and Friends. Actually became a real.
It's fucked up. It's a betrayal of trust and loyalty that one should have for someone they
why
call
don't you
a
let
good
me
friend.
and Anna deal with that together? What does that have to do with you pussies? With you
They have to try to
she
stir
doesn't
up
have
shit.
a problem with you, right?
No, she doesn't.
So then what the fuck? Who cares?
We're good friends. Everything's fine.
Yeah,
So.
then they have no business commenting on this. It's pointless.
All these events unfold over this generation's biggest media platform, the new reality TV, but don't want people commenting on the activities they broadcast. Too bad. Ethan Van Sciver came to Comicsgate.
Yeah, that's the thing is Jeremy was just shit-talking everybody.
By the industry. He rallied the community behind him in his supposed fight against the industry, then immediately recruits his
trying to say
industry
Ethan is
professional
bad.
friends
Could you
and starts
pause it
setting
again?
up fulfillment
Fuck this
deals
dude.
for those friends.
Fuck you,
with
Dean, you faggot, you pussy. Listen, here's a situation with it. These guys, I've said over and over and over again, I'm not fighting the industry. That's a ridiculous argument. I'm fighting SJWs. I don't want comic skaters to be politically discriminated against from going anywhere that they want to go. And that includes me. If I want to work for Marvel or DC, I should be allowed to, regardless of my politics. And I've said this 100,000 times, but there's some kind of retarded element within anti-comicsgate that thinks, no, Ethan is saying that, like, no, but we should be fighting Marvel and DC. No, we're not.
First of all, I'm not anti-CG. I want CG to succeed. I don't even dislike Ethan. I just think that he's clearly a fat, incompetent liar. I'd go so far as to say that I don't think those things are straight facts. But yeah, it was retarded to take your word at face value, Ethan, when you made several tweets bashing the industry. For fuck's sake, Ethan, looking these tweets up took 5 seconds. It took a whole 5 seconds to discredit you. Furthermore, he also just stated that he's here to fight cancel culture. Was he fighting cancel culture when he labeled Nurkish a Nazi to get him canceled out of Comicsgate?
Wow.
A joke. Someone posted
of the sort, you fucking liars. It's a disgusting. Well, the
They
Nurkish
went from-
situation was very simple. We were being Nurkish was somebody who prized his anonymity. Nobody knew his real name. He had a family. He didn't want to be doxxed. He was terrified. In private, he'd tell me he was terrified of being doxxed. He also had a Discord server with assholes like Thomas Royaloop in it who were posting all of this crazy fucking anti-Semitic
They go way over the line.
memes. I mean, like it would be like a pile of ashes with cum in it, and it would be like my last.
I had to
Jewish
stop having
girlfriend.
a public Discord for the same reason.
That's why. That's why Pangea is private.
So one of these guys who I debated on Ricada's stream, one of these hardcore SJWs, I can't remember what his name was. But he found Nurkish's server, and he came to me in private and said, I've got his docs. I'm going to fucking dox this guy because he's an anti-Semite and he's connected to you. So I went to Nurkish in private and I said, Nurkish, you got to clean up your fucking Discord, dude. You're about to get doxxed. I just got a threat from this guy that you're going to get doxxed. And Nurkish basically said, I'm a free speech absolutist. And I said, well, they're going to dox you. And he's like, well, what am I supposed to do about it? And he's like, and what do you care? And I was like, I care because you're Comicsgate. And he's like, I'm not fucking Comicsgate. I'm Comicsgate adjacent. And then he went away and he kind of said something like, I feel like Ethan is threatening me mafia style by saying that I'm Comicsgate.
First, what EVS responded with doesn't negate the fact that he labeled Nurkish a Nazi over memes posted by other people in his Discord. Second, no, it was War Campaign, not some SJW who went at Nurkish with his docs. Let's hear what Praetorian, an ex-war campaigner who was directly involved in the situation, had to say about it.
Comicsgate Anonymous, that was an operation that we ran to go ahead and expose the Nurkish server and to run Nurkish out of Comicsgate, or in an attempt to. We didn't want to be have these attached to our main account, so we went ahead and made a alt called Comicsgate Anonymous.
So, as you heard, War Campaign had a sock account made to go at Nurkish and threaten him with his docs. If we look at these DMs between Ethan and Praetorian, we see that Ethan obviously knew that the account threatening to dox Nurkish was made by someone in War Campaign, and he thought it was quote-unquote genius. He can fool himself, but don't let him fool you. Someone who regularly participates in cancel culture.
Wow,
this sounds like a political campaign or something going on right now. Like, what am I listening to?
John thinks that my video sounds like a political campaign, and it's no wonder he was a failure as a politician. Well, That's going to be it for this video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And also go check out D&V Investigations, the channel I co-host with Vickyverse. And at the time this video releases, we will probably be live streaming. Don't miss it. Link in the description. You all take care.
We're going all... Oh, it's Thomas.
Oh, that was so sweet. That cute little check us out at the end. One thing about the Nurkish situation, Ethan kind of misstated some things. I believe I still have copies of those DMs somewhere. I don't know. I purged a whole lot of stuff just because. That Discord no longer belonged to Nurkish. For one. So he had no control over anybody in it, or what they posted or anything along those lines. He'd already turned it over to somebody else. And Ethan did pretty much say, you know, we'll help you out. We'll, you know, I'll go ahead. We'll cover for you. You're going to be doxxed if you don't declare that you're Comicsgate, which to me sounds like strong arming. You know, Nurkish does have health problems and he didn't want to deal with any of this stuff. But what's even kookier is at the time Nurkish was going to be doing a book with Cecil, the original cash grab, right? So War Campaign was going after Cecil's co-creator. Very strange.
That is very strange.
It is very, very strange.
Yeah.
It was a bizarre situation. And it's one of the things that actually made me stop and go, about Comicsgate.
Was it?
Yeah, it really, really was, Dean. So.
All right. Well, speaking of Thomas Roy Loop, we have a guest. Hey, Thomas.
I'm trying to figure out who the guest is. Oh, right.
Who could it be?
Who knows?
Heads are exploding at the moment, by the way.
Mine especially. But the first thing, by the way, about the Nurkish server is that Nurkish never started that server. He never had any control over it. That was Jack who started the server and basically ran it the whole time. Anyways, also this just tonight, because you were comparing the Ethan picture in the thumbnail of his weird dyed beard. This isn't that, of course, but his face looks like a pear in the thumbnail for this stream. And so somebody on our Discord server, which is even more racist and anti-Semitic than Nurkish.
You know, I only go to two channels on your server.
Yeah, I noticed that there's only two channels that some people really only pay attention to. But where's the thing? Oh yeah, here are the DMs from the DM group back in 2018 about the whole Nurkish thing. And it's funny, the first cap starts with Ethan saying, "I fucking love the War Campaign," and I think I'm pretty sure that's Nurkish saying why. And Ethan says they found kitty porn attached to Jason Youngbluth and reported it to the FBI. So did Jason Youngbluth go to jail or something? Did that ever happen?
Not that I heard.
Because it sounds like there wasn't actually any kitty porn attached to Jason Youngbluth. It sounds like they made up a hoax about him to, try to discredit him. And then I think this was about the time that Ethan was supposed to be debating the guy, or maybe it was right after.
Probably right after.
Yeah, it's interesting though that
they tended to be very reactionary instead of
so it
proactive.
makes sense. But it's funny, they're awful, haha, and Ethan's screaming, "Dude, they're awesome." I wonder how that turned out for Ethan. Did that turn out good?
It seemed to have turned out okay for Jason Youngbluth because he never ended up in prison.
Yeah, it sounds like a hoax, but there's some other stuff. Like, Critias shows up here. Did that turn out okay for Critias? I think that turned out all right, didn't it?
Yeah, it turned out great.
But yeah, here's Nurkish saying, I'm not really Comicsgate, and Ethan saying, yeah, you are Comicsgate. Who gets to decide that? If you're in a movement?
Well, I mean, he decides if you're out of the movement.
Well, apparently he also decides if you're in the movement, I guess.
Yeah.
Anyways, me and my brother did a video going through all of these DMs. Not even leaked, really. These have been, public for years.
Yeah,
so,
they have been.
Yeah, so there's a video to go up on our Subscribe Star at some point in the future, maybe next month or something like that. So I just wanted to sort of plug that and say that, there's some good stuff coming up on our Subscribe Star channel thing.
Yeah, I think those are actually the screenshots that I have.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if pretty much everyone had them at this point. But yeah, there's a lot of really weird stuff that Ethan himself says, that he basically says that he's trying to direct and control Comicsgate. And then he says, but I'm not the leader. And it's like, you just pretty much say you are the leader and then say you're not. It's very, very strange. It's also weird. He's kind of a weirdo, if you will. I don't know.
Yeah, that is strange. I guess I never thought about it like that.
Yeah. Anyways,
a giant weirdo.
So check out our channel.
Weirdo.
He's kind of gay. There's a lot of rumors of him being a closeted homosexual. I don't really know about that, but the way he reacted to those rumors, he is a closeted homosexual. I don't think there's any way around it.
No, I think Thomas is onto something. I think he actually is a closeted homosexual.
It's worth thinking about. A little bit, perhaps.
Unlike Dean, who's very open about
it. I'm a very open faggot, openly.
Ethan called him one, so he must be.
They had gay cocaine sex over the phone one time. I knew it.
Why would you? I told you that in confidence.
Well, now it's in public. Anyways, so check out my YouTube channel. And, become a pay pig on our YouTube channel.
You have a wrench. You can drop the link, by the way.
Drop
that.
Drop the link.
Oh yeah, I am in the chat.
Yeah, okay, drop the link for your books too.
Where is my? Okay, yeah, I'll do that. Thanks for having me on. And was it broadcasting that? No. All right. Anyways, thanks for having me on. I just wanted to hint at that. See ya.
See ya.
Bye.
All right.
Goodness gracious. Are we going to receive a lot of shit for that?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. I'm okay with it though.
Just we weren't accusing anybody of having CP.
No.
Yeah.
No, we weren't. Ethan was though. War Campaign was. Well, War Campaign did. I don't remember. God, it's been so long. I don't know if Ethan ever said anything about it.
Yeah.
I think he might have.
Who knows?
But I think that's why Pan and War Campaign are calling him a glowy.
Oh, are they?
Yeah, they're saying he's a Fed.
I don't think so.
I don't think
silly,
he is either.
That's a silly claim.
Yeah, but if he reported something to the claims to have reported something to the FBI, they're automatically going to call him that.
All right. Well, I think that's going to be it for this stream.
I think so too. It's been a full one.
Yeah.
Thanks everybody for joining us. We appreciate your stopping by and participating in the chat.
Yeah. Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
We have a clip to play us out.
Oh, I will be uploading that video to my channel. It'll go up tomorrow morning if anybody wants to rewatch it.
All right. Well,
all right.
Later, guys.
Clip.
I know a whole bunch of people that know Aaron and Shelley Lopresti, and I love Shelley Lopresti mainly because she is a great spouse, a caring, wonderful, supportive spouse of what her man is doing, and everybody knows I call her Mama Bear, and I love her. And Loda's the same way, yo.